Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rob Has a Podcast. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and we are here tonight to talk about this episode of Big Brother Canada 11 that we saw here tonight on a Wednesday night. It was, theoretically the veto episode, but it was really an HOH episode and also a nomination episode and also a veto episode all in one episode. And you know that you'd think that means, oh, this is great. We got some great stuff ahead for us. But was it great? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's find out. Also with me to talk about it is Sasha. How you doing, Sasha?
So good. No poison drank here, but maybe I should have to get through this episode. I don't know, but excited to be here.
Yeah, if there was a competition about who's watching a bad episode of Big Brother Canada 11, I would lose that competition so fast. It is just really easy to read it on my face. Well, also with us tonight is Maggie. How you doing, Maggie? You know, I thought she might be frozen, but I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure. I was like, yes, Maggie, good for you for not moving.
I was like, she could be frozen, or she could just be very still and not finding any of what I'm saying funny at all. And it was really either one of those possibilities.
Maggie, I think maybe did drink the poison. So
I think she did.
I think we vote
final
her.
two. All right, Sasha.
We made it.
How many minutes of Big Brother Canada coverage have we released so far this season?
1 minute. You guys, like, the thing is, I was working perfectly beforehand. There was not a singular problem. And the second we went live, suddenly I heard every third word Taran said, and I was like, okay, it'll definitely even out before Sasha, like, because he'll go to Sasha first, and by the time I hear Sasha at all, and then I heard every 15th word Sasha said, and I was like, this is just, this is bad news. But hi, everybody. Sorry about that.
Well, other than being frozen, Maggie, how have you been?
Okay, well, I had a whole bit. That was your bit. It makes sense.
Let's do the bit. All right. Also with me tonight is Maggie. How you doing, Maggie?
Did I drink poison or did I not? Can you tell from my face?
Yes, you did.
I think you did, and it was this episode.
Sasha,
there, I
would ding 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 on that one. Yes.
Oh my god.
Ugh, guys, what are we doing? It's late. See, I work and I can't be on any normal podcasts this season because of all of my work situation, my schedule. Like the only podcast I can be on is like the 10:30 Wednesday night episode, and it's always so bad, and it always really goes off the rails. And I'm sorry. What is even happening? Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I think the problem with this episode for me is that it wasn't like egregiously bad. It was just kind of boring. It was just kind of meh. I said on my stream that it was like it had the structure of a double eviction, but with none of the energy. Like we had 2 competitions in one episode. Normally that would mean it's a double eviction and it's frantic and it's fast paced. But we like kept the leisurely pace of a regular episode while also fitting in 2 comps and a Wendy's segment and an HOH room segment with winners. And it was just like, oh.
Because the only segment that we didn't get a single segment except for the Kuzi and Claudia conversation that was not a competition or a sponsored content. I was like, okay, so this is the only, and that was the most exciting thing to me. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is finally, we're getting a normal conversation. And then everything else was like, even like we had to hear about Shanae's Baconator breakfast sandwich before they got into, like, I was like, ugh. And I was watching with my friend and he was like, I have had that and it's quite good. So if anybody was wondering, apparently a good thing to order. But yeah, I think that people in the comments are saying like, I like the I liked the episode, and yes, I don't like competitions. It's like like I've said on many podcasts before, when I binge seasons, I literally fast forward through the competitions. I never watch the competitions. I don't really care. I'm like one of those girls. So to me, it was just sort of like, I agree with Taran. It was just meh.
I mean, I'll tell you my favorite part of the episode, which was the resurgence of Topaz.
Oh, that was so
Topaz
fun.
is
Yes.
back. I was quickly trying to rack my brain on like, okay, there is a Wendy segment after all. Who could it be? And I think if I had thought of like all of the week 6 or 7 or whatever it is HOHs, Topaz probably would have been at the bottom of my list. I never thought we would see Topaz on the show again. But I was so happy to see Topaz. And it makes sense because they actually were talking about Topaz on either today's drop or yesterday's drop, and they were explaining how Big Brother screwed her over with her
Oh my God.
HOH. And I was like,
just
it's
like
weird that they're
Kuzi.
talking
Got
about
it.
this. But it was because she saw Topaz. What a surprise.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. And I am not like a BBCAN stan like that. So I went and watched the tapes again while we were waiting for this podcast. Oh, chef's kiss. So funny. Arissa, no, y'all switch the vote. Just wow. I don't
They
think
pull out the replay. She's like, Dan, help.
I couldn't breathe. Like I can't. I think I watched it twice because I couldn't believe that was real. And Arissa is like, I told you the rules. I told you the rules. And she's just like meta world piecing it out here. And she's like, I'll vote for whoever I want. And that's how it's going to be. I can't. It's just, and then the fact that her best friend lost because of that. Spoiler alert, I guess. But oof.
Yeah, so I guess spoilers for season 1. There are people in the chat who are
Sorry.
saying we don't actually know who this is. I mean, they spoiled it in the episode itself. So if for whatever reason you don't want season 1 further spoiled, skip the next minute or two. But basically, number 1, Topaz was screwed over in the game because she won an HOH, and then Big Brother had her like make her nominations and like speak out her thought process while she did it by herself, and then streamed what she was saying to the other house guests the entire time. So she got completely screwed over. She was like, well, I could nominate these people, like these people are my target, or I could do this, and they saw all of it, completely betrayed her. Then she goes to jury, and her best friend in the game was Gary, who comes back from the jury, makes the final 2, and the vote comes down to a single vote. They had made an alliance in the jury to all vote against Emmett and Jillian, and she was particularly burned by Jillian, the ultimate winner. And when she cast her vote, when she was in the game, they played in an HOH together, and Jillian had said like, you're 100% safe, or was it 110% or something? And then she went back on her word. So when she cast her vote, she's like, I'm 110% sure about who I'm voting for.
But you weren't.
And then she pulls the vote, and it says Jillian, and she's like, Arissa? No, that's not what I did.
No, y'all, it's so funny. And they're like and the set piece is so funny because there's a little gate, and she had to open the gate to come out. And Arissa's like, yeah.
But
Arissa
Taran
doesn't
have the face right. Taran doesn't have the face
Oh, sorry.
right. Her face is like the what? Oh, hold on. It's like she's looking into a very bright light. She's like, what? It's so good.
And so Dan Giesling had entered the game at one point as like a special thing, and so he's sitting there in the front row of the audience, and she's looking at Dan like, Dan, help me, and Dan's like, I don't know what to do. And They cut to commercial, they come back and they show the replay and they show the little camera angle of her putting in Jillian's vote. And like to this day, I really feel like it's because of the thing that she said. She was so focused on, saying that about Jillian that just subconsciously she grabbed Jillian's name because she was thinking about Jillian.
And over the years, also, it's sort of like morphed into Topaz thought she was like meta world piecing. Like she thought that she was voting who she wanted to not win, like casting the last vote like out, and whoever got the least votes won. But that isn't it. It really is. She just put the wrong key in. But that's why Arissa, every single season, if you'll notice at the finale, if you didn't know about this, at the finale, every single season, Arissa will be like, vote for who you want to win. And she says it like 4 times over and over again.
I think what I find it most relatable is because this happens to me where if I'm talking like shit about someone and I end up sometimes texting them and being like, and then I was like, oh no, it's because their name was on my mind. So I'll end up like being like this person, and then thankfully I've caught myself, and it's only happened to me once that I actually sent the text. But the amount of times I have drafted it is embarrassing.
Yeah. It was especially funny too because like the jury was so bitter, and like I said, they had made like this alliance to guarantee that these two would not win the game, and they were so cocky about it in their questions and their speeches, and for it all to go wrong, it was just, oh man, this is what kicked off Big Brother Canada, and it's way more interesting than the episode we want to talk about. So I'm glad we got to take this little diversion. Anyway,
welcome everyone.
Let's talk about this episode.
Do we have to? Can we just keep chatting? What should we chat about next? What should we talk about? Other iconic Big Brother Canada moments?
Remember Ika shredding the letters? Let's talk.
Oh my god! That. And
remember when Hope got everyone letters?
Remember in season 3 when the veto came out of the floor for Sarah and Brittany? What was the iconic moment of season 4? Remember when they all had to put those slop chips in? That was pretty iconic.
All right. Well, let's talk about this episode. Let's do it. We come off of the fatal feast, and they're talking about, did she hug you? Did she hug you? And it's time for a new HOH competition. Now, this was talked about last night. First thing I noticed at the start of this episode, they're snacking on some food. Apparently, it was real food on the table the whole time. Who knew? But
sorry.
Listen, this is an important point that we need to talk about, Sasha.
Thrilling. It's thrilling. It really
riveting
is.
BB content. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
We get to the HOH competition, and this is ripped straight from the Mole, the new Netflix Mole season. They're all gonna take shots, and one of the shots is poison, aka something that probably just tastes really bad. I don't know exactly what it is or was, but the point is that you need to pretend like you took a regular shot. I also don't know what the regular shots were. I'm assuming water to make it as neutral as possible. I'm assuming they didn't actually have like alcohol shots.
No.
Because
no way.
then you probably would be making some sort of face.
No way. Yeah.
Imagine you take tequila and that's not the poison.
I don't know, Sasha. When I drink tequila, usually I wake up feeling very poisoned.
That's what I'm saying. Like that not being the poison doesn't make sense. Like my face would look like I went through a hurricane. It's just no way. Impossible.
So I really like the concept of this challenge. I think it's very fun. And I think that it's a really cool extension of what they had done with the Fatal Feast. I do have a couple of issues with it though. Mostly the way that they formatted how it worked as a challenge. Very quickly, I think Claudia figured it out, and I think most people would. You realize there's no penalty for getting it wrong.
Yes.
And that means that basically the premise is you have to guess who got the poison, but that's not really what you should be doing. You shouldn't be guessing who got the poison. You should just be voting for somebody you don't want to win HOH, because as long as you vote for them every time, they can't win. It may eventually come down to a crapshoot, but like they essentially can't win as long as you're not eliminated first. And if you have allies who you're able to kind of be like, let's all figure, like if multiple of you have figured it out, for instance, if I'm in this challenge, I'm going to vote. If let's say I'm Daniel, Anika, or Hope, I'm going to vote for Claudia. And oh man, it wasn't Claudia. And let's say Hope voted for Anika. I'm going to be like, oh, Hope, I really thought you were going to vote for Shania.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that you didn't vote for Shania. Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hope.
Do you really think our friend Hope,
Yeah.
Maybe
our
Hope is the wrong person to
sweet
talk
Hope
to.
is going to
Koozie.
catch this?
Probably Koozie.
But
the
Koozie
point-
can't play.
Yeah. The point
you're
being,
right.
though, now, especially now that this has been played before, it's much more easily gameable in the future if they do it again.
Mhm.
But like, if Hope, Daniel, and Anika had all separately voted for each of the girly pops every time, Renee, Claudia, Shania, then it basically just comes down to a crapshoot who happens to get the poison. And Ty is involved in this as well. This was actually one of the few instances where, because of the numbers, it was equal. It was 3-3, and then one person in the middle. It still could have been kind of interesting, but mostly a crapshoot. In most circumstances, if there's just a straight majority, then it's just over. It's just over. If there's 7 people competing and 5 of them are in an alliance, then there's absolutely zero chance that the other 2 will ever win this competition. The way that it's set up, I think that is a bit of an error. And we ultimately saw that the girly pops were able to game this fairly well. Mostly because the Crown got unlucky at the start, and most of their members just went 1-1, 1-2, and then Ty left as well, and then it was just down to Daniel. And so didn't structure super well. This is how I would have liked to have structured it, and it took me like a little bit, but I think that the way that I would like it to be is same setup. You have to try to figure out who took the poison. Everybody that gets it right then votes to eliminate one of the people that got it wrong. So it rewards you for getting it right and punishes you for getting it wrong. If everybody gets it right, the person who drank the poison is out. If nobody gets it right, the person who drank the poison picks who they want to leave. It still benefits the majority, but it's a lot trickier to navigate, and it's not so easily gameable.
And then that gives more drama too, because
Yeah.
if it's like 2 people within your alliance and you have to vote out one, like if you're publicly voting out, like
Exactly.
if I'm in an alliance with both of you and me and 2 other people got it right and I have to pick, like that can cause more drama, and that's exciting. It's sort of like the knockout competition in the way where you have to very publicly sort of show where you stand. That's a good idea, Taran. I was going to say another way that you could do it is that when you get it wrong, you get like 1 strike against you and 3 strikes and you're out or something. But I actually like your idea way better.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
also points would be
Yeah.
fine, right? Where
Mhm.
this way everyone still gets to play the game, and we still get like more interactions, et cetera, but whatever.
yeah, I mean, I think points work. I think strikes work as well. I think that you're just trying to keep it as exciting as possible. I think there are a few different options that you can use. I think this is, I think they were going for like true excitement. Somebody's getting eliminated every time. It's like, do they catch them? Do they not? So I was trying to keep that energy. But I think even points would have worked better. Even strikes would have worked better than what they had here.
I thought it was kind of unfair. Like I felt like I was like, okay, so Shania got the poison at the very end, but Claudia never got the poison the whole time and she won. Like that's pretty unfair. And at least like normally in a crapshoot, it involves you rolling a ball down something and you're doing something. This absolutely could have been rigged in some way, like, and I know it wasn't. I'm not accusing Big Brother, but like it just feels it felt very unfair to me.
I really, at first, I didn't see the very first round, I didn't see that they picked their glasses, and I was like, this is terrible. The fact that the glasses are handed to them, but the fact they got to pick their own glasses, which I think helps eliminate that angle at least. But it's still, yes. I mean, at the end of the day, that means it's pure random. You basically pick a number from 1 to 10. If you pick the wrong one, then, or sorry, 1 to 7 at the start, pick the wrong one and you're out. Is pretty much how the competition works for most of it. And then at the end, it's who has a majority after the randomness. That's basically how the competition works.
And I think if you get the poison first, you're really screwed because
Yeah.
You're still trying to gamify it, right? Like maybe after round 1, the crown could have figured something out, but they did not. Bless their hearts. I don't know what game they're playing. But either way, so I think even there's a little bit of unfairness. That's why I think like we need to have something that makes it to where if you gamify it or if you're smart and you have to show your strategy, we're good.
I also personally would have liked to see either something bigger than a shot, like something that you have to kind of gulp down, or maybe even just 2 shots. Just like a little more information, especially because like I'd love to play along at home. I'd love to like get maybe a side by side, or maybe like because they're taking a little bit longer, a bit more time with each person as they're drinking. So I'm like, oh, who do I think it is? And it actually matters because like getting it right would mean something, getting it wrong wouldn't would mean something. So I all this said, these are the ways that I think it could have been better. I still preferred this to most Big Brother competitions that are just like throw a ball in a thing or
lift a ball with 2 ropes.
Yeah, lift the ball with 2 ropes onto a pole. Like, yeah, I still liked it better than that. It was still something different, and I like that, and it was more entertaining than in my opinion, most of those other things. So ultimately, we see that Claudia wins. Now, I did think it was interesting that Claudia knew the strategy. She knew the strategy, which was vote for the person you don't want to be HOH. Now, that might surprise you because when it came down to 4, Claudia voted Renee and not Daniel. Which you'd be like, well, did she forget her strategy? I think no. I think that Claudia actually trusts Daniel more than Renee. And this was a telltale sign of that. Yet again, we just saw Shania pick Claudia over Renee. And now we're seeing that Claudia is picking Daniel over Renee. That does kind of match up with how we're seeing their alliance and relationship on the feeds at the moment, or the drops.
Yeah, so let's see. I hope that starts some drama. So I'm excited. I don't think it will, but we pray.
Yeah, I don't think Claudia let Renee know the strategy. I think she was just like, oh yeah, I just caught you. Because when they were like, oh, you got Ty, she was like, yeah, I totally read Ty. I wasn't just voting for him every time.
No, she's smart. Listen, that's when you lie. But
yeah,
Miss Boutte, come on, wake up.
Claudia, honestly, this whole episode, I was like, okay, Claudia, all right. Like she really, I was like, I am so easily swayed. Like if we had feeds and I was but that's the thing. I was like, if we had feeds and I was watching her on feeds, I bet you I would be way higher on her and I would feel way better. Or maybe I wouldn't because I haven't seen the schmoopy talk that she's having with Ty that we know is going on in the house. But like the way she came across in this episode, I was like, I'm no better than a casual. I'm like all about Claudia this episode. I was like, she looks cute in her winner's outfit. She had the right strategy. She put up Ty, like, good for her.
Yes, she is targeting Ty. She wants to make a big move. Now Ty has an alternative option. He's got some gummies to explain some things to Claudia. Now, I think this is worth noting because this is interesting about Ty. After Zach left, we kind of saw a slightly new side of Ty for a little bit. It was a more apologetic Ty. It was I almost quit the game, but I didn't Ty. And then very quickly, he was convinced that he was in control of the game again, and it turned into ball game Ty again. But now, Ty he's been broken up with. He's been targeted by Kuzi. Claudia just won this HOH, and we're back to slightly more humble Ty. Slightly more, I've got to explain some things with some gummies to you, Ty. Slightly more, I'm proud of you for targeting me, Ty. And that's the Ty we get here. So the thing is, his pitch is actually fairly accurate. Kuzi was targeting, basically if Ty leaves, Kuzi and Daniel and Anika will likely be targeting the girly pops. And it is important for the girly pops to recognize that they should probably take out at least hope of the other side before they kind of seal their own fate by wasting their time with Ty. The problem is that when you spend most of the game as ball game Ty, people don't want to listen to humble Ty.
Oh, first of all, he was barely humble. Okay, the bar is in hell for this man.
Yeah.
And this is humble.
For Ty, humble for Ty.
Yeah, I cannot. Okay.
Can you
No.
imagine how we would feel about him if we had feeds also? Like, Sasha, you and I already feel this way about him now.
No, I'd fight him. Like,
No, like,
actually, I'd
seriously.
be beating down that house.
Me, you, and Kirsten, if we had feeds for Ty, like, oh my gosh.
The problem is my toxic trait that I do find him attractive, like looks wise, but I think he's such a jerk that it's zero. Yeah, that it's now at a 0, but that's what I don't know what the feeds would do is what I'm saying.
Were you with Jacob? Like, yeah, break down that door, Ty, last episode?
Absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm off the train. I'm just saying, if I saw him a lot, I don't know what that would mean for me.
Like, I really feel like if we had feeds, he would be like akin to like a Jack BB21.
Oh God!
Level. Like,
okay,
I'm
it's done for me now.
I'm telling you, because before we heard Jack speak, we also felt that way, Sasha.
Not I. Couldn't be me. Please. That man
not even preseason.
Listen, I'm from Oklahoma, right? Like many men look like that and have those takes. I think that's why I was like, seen this before.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
Sure. Oh my god.
Oh boy. We hear from Shania, actually. Shania is going to talk to Claudia about somewhat similar ideas as Ty. Hey, should we be taking a shot at Ty or should we be taking a shot at Hope? Considering that Hope is kind of working with Kuzi and them, and Ty is ostensibly kind of in the middle. And Claudia's like, but I want to make a big move. And Shania's like, well, is it a bit? I mean, at this point, everything's a big move, right? I really like this from Shania for a lot of reasons. One, this benefits Shania. If Claudia doesn't make a big move, then Claudia's not going to get that jury respect as much. And if Shania plans to go to the end with Claudia, which I think she does, then that gives Shania more chance to win against Claudia in the first place. So she's like, selfishly, it's good. And then strategically as well. She's correct. Hope is a much better target for them to stay safe in the long term at this point. Especially if they are able to make some kind of deal with Ty. So it's good stuff from Shania, but you can kind of see the argument from Claudia as well. If Claudia selfishly wants to win some credit with the jury, making a big move like putting Ty on the block, I do think will help her with the jury. She just needs to survive until she gets there. And winning credit with the jury, winning this comp to get, that on her resume, it's great for the jury, but it does mean that people will see her as more threatening in the game as well. So there's always a little bit of back and forth here, Maggie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the catch-22 of playing any social strategy game, right? Like, this is the whole Mike White got up in his Emmy speech and was like, I played Survivor, and the goal is to, like, be good but not be too good. Like, that's sort of the whole, but it's obvious to anybody with eyes that Claudia is the girly pop who knows what's going on the most. But also, I do think that, like, you saying that you respected this from Shania, her bringing up to Claudia, like, what do we like bringing real strategy to her, like being that second in command behind the big target. And, you might be put up with them, but they'll go home before you. Like, I do think that there really is something to that. And like, I do think maybe Shania has more to her game than we might have thought. Like, again, not to like say this over and over. but like if we had feeds, I would love to be able to say with more like specificity. But I do think that it's a huge mistake for. Okay, so you do. Okay, sorry. So you do think that Claudia going after Ty is good for her for her jury clout, but I do think that if she were to go after and get out like Kuzi or Anika here, even over Hope, that would put her in a better position to then target Ty further down the line, right?
But Ty wants to take Kuzi to final 2, right?
Yeah, I think that's why Kuzi's got to go here.
Well,
like,
that's what he's saying to Kuzi.
Oh, well, allegedly, right,
yeah.
right. Oh God. But that's why I don't know that. Yeah, it's a good move to keep Ty, but outside, if he's just lying, then I'm with you, Maggie.
Yeah,
I agree that.
I don't
I mean,
know.
I think the two biggest shots are Ty and Kuzi. But I think Ty gives her personally the most amount of jury credit because I think that people looking at Claudia's game are wondering in the house are wondering how much of this, like, how much were you loyal to Ty? How much of your game was connected to Ty? And a lot of people have talked about like, wow, what an amazing ball game move it would be to take out Ty, take out your showmance, because not only is it a big move, it's also something they really want to see. Like taking a shot at Kuzi is like a begrudging, like, you got her. Taking a shot at Ty is like, let's go, get him.
Ball game.
You go,
Yeah, now
girl.
you can say it.
Exactly. So I think this is the single best thing she could do to win jury votes. But you know, is it the right move strategically? I mean, that depends on how much you can trust Ty, how much you can trust Kuzi in the shady bunch. And you know, that's kind of the dilemma that she finds herself in here.
Without knowing, right, everything that's going on in the house, right, whatever's presented to us currently, it seems or feels to me that Claudia kind of out of all of the people is the most understanding of the chessboard sometimes over, I think, the crown. And I think I'm just very angry at my faves right now, so maybe that's where this is coming from, because you know what y'all doing in the safety chain, how embarrassing. But just the way I'm seeing it, I can see a way for Claudia to win, which I think even a week ago I was like, girls, done, like, bye. And now all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute now, because girly pops, I think, they're so strong, they're together versus maybe the crown is a little bit like I'm not sure, Daniel C, right, all of that. So that's why I don't know that Claudia is necessarily my winner pick, but I'm just like, my girl has a good chance compared to unfortunately even Kuzi at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the blind spot is Daniel and Anika, and what we talked about in that HOH, where she chose Daniel over Renee, and trusting Daniel and Anika so much when, you know, we know that Daniel and Anika not exactly looking to keep the girly pops around for too long.
I have to say, I was listening to the round table. Like, both of you guys were so great. I would have given Daniel a 9 or a 9. Like, Daniel is my front runner right now. Like, I think that he is amazingly positioned, and like, I understand why you both gave him the 8, like, totally. But I was like, if I was there, I would have just gone for it. I would have gone for the 9. He's doing really, really well.
Well, they were so dismissive of, well, y'all hadn't seen that yet. Never mind. Yeah. But, you know, the way they're dismissive of Hope, that it makes sense. I think it's fine.
You're right. You're right. No, that's why I'm saying,
Anika, I'm drop 10 points for you for that mess, but Daniel was there too.
No, I'm saying I would have been like the crazy one to give him the 9. You know, like I would have like gone.
I don't think you're wrong necessarily, because he all out of, I think, the crown, he's the best odds to win. I feel, at least. Me and Anika, I think, are close second.
Yeah.
Well, we do get some nominations. Claudia is going to nominate Hope and Ty. And Ty afterwards gives Claudia a hug, says, "I'm proud of you. Do what you got to do." How did you feel about this, Sasha?
Oh God, he's so fake. Like, all of this is so fake, and I don't. how do they do it? Right. And I think I asked Kevin this too when he was actually on the podcast, but it's just so boring to me to watch because I was like, give me the drama, or why is this fakeness? But it is what it is, I guess.
I mean, I think that's like for Ty, you've got to take a hard stance. You can't give him anything, you know? Like the second you give him something, it's ball game. But if you hold firm, then he's like well, okay, well maybe I'll walk, but maybe
He
I'll
just every
stay.
time he talks, you're just like, every time he speaks, I'm just like, how? Or like, who is falling for this? I just like can't.
He is so frustrating. Like he is so insufferable. Like and then he gets in the DR and he's like, it's very clear I'm a lone wolf in this game. And I was like, and why do you think that is, sir? Why do you think that has happened? I just, anyways.
No, I this air of ignorance, or not arrogance and ignorance,
yes.
whatever. I said it all. Is I think that's what bothers me. But listen, my girl, is maybe not bothered by it, and bless her heart for that. Because again, I don't know why. I think Kuzi feels like the only person that stands up to him, and that's what bothers me.
That's what I'm saying. The more you stand up to him, the more he respects you.
I mean, those types of guys, yeah, makes sense. It's pretty obvious.
So we then get to the veto draw, and Claudia is going to make a kind of a weird choice here. She picks Renee over Kuzi or Daniel to compete in this veto. Now, she doesn't know that Daniel has won a veto at this point, but she does know that Kuzi has won multiple competitions, and Renee not only hasn't won a competition, but usually comes in last place in every competition she competes in. And yet she chooses Renee, much to Kuzi's chagrin. And I do not fault Kuzi for being suspicious here, because if I were in Kuzi's place and I saw Claudia nominate Ty, I'd be like, wow, she's really going after Ty. But then if I see her choose Renee for the veto competition, I'm going to be like, wait a minute. Does she want Ty to win that veto? Like, is she hoping that something will happen here? Am I being backdoored? Something is off, because her intended goal does not line up with the choice she just made. It really didn't make a lot of sense. And on top of that, her explanation was not great either. Like, oh, I just felt bad because of the safety chain. So I, wanted to pick her for the veto. The thing is, she's probably telling the truth, I guess. But it's bad reasoning to pick somebody for a veto.
I mean, that's also her alliance member. I that's what I was thinking, where I understand what Kuzi said and I understand why we're saying that, but why wouldn't I pick my alliance member and my friend? Cuz I don't know, because do I trust Kuzi 100% over Renee? No, right? Like I trust Renee more. So, but yeah, and Renee is not the best in comps, but these are the same people that believe Hope is really good at comps. Hope has won one comp, and they just keep saying Hope is so great and he's a physical threat to Ty. What did he do? Hold the door closed. That's what Hope did.
Hey, he was pretty good at that. Well, actually, not that good.
No, he wasn't. He actually kept you out. That's it.
So I think
if only they had spoken more to him, though. I listened last night. If only they had spoken more to him,
Yeah. That was his weakness. I think it's important to point out that there is supposed to be a working alliance / relationship between the Girly Pops and the Shady Bunch, that they all came together this week to take out Ty, which is why Kuzi would have expected Claudia to pick her to play. Like, hey, if you're saying you trust me and that we're all working together to take out Ty, then why would you choose Renee over me? That just signals to me that you trust Renee a lot more than you trust me, even when it comes to this one thing to take out Ty. Like, you couldn't even trust me for this, which does not speak very well of our relationship moving forward. And it doesn't, because Claudia
No.
is planning to take on Kuzi soon. So it's pretty much just a dead giveaway.
I just need. Here's the thing, right? Like, what can I do, or like, what sacrifice must I give for my faves to just like be in charge? You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this, Big Brother. You can't constantly give me faves that do well, get it together, and then at the finish line fizzle out. Like, I can't. Like, we sacrificed Faute to you. Like, enough. When will it be enough? Because I don't like this underdog mess. Like, I don't live for that. And like, I know everyone's like, oh, I love the transfer of power. No, I want my faves to go to the final and not do this. And they keep flopping. And I'm just like, wake up. Someone needs to wake up. Someone give me a wall yeller or something. Because what's not clicking?
You just want your favorite to Derek their way through a season.
Yes, I don't care if they're my fave. I will say this. I have no shame.
So we go to the veto competition, and it's a close one between Hope and Ty, but ultimately Ty is going to take it, and that is ball game. It's ball game. Ty, he's back.
I'm not even mad because everyone else is dumb. So, who did we think was going to win? Okay, Hope What did Kuzi say? Hope Fitness.
Hope Fitness.
Hope Fitness was in hell. Okay, that
He
man
was
was
close.
shivering. No, but poor guy, he was like hurting really bad. He was shaking, man, sweat dripping. Anika almost. I saw you, but no dice for Anika either.
Yeah, I think the tough part for Hope was that last one. It was really close to him. He had gotten just past it with the ball. He had overshot it a little bit, and the angle, like, he couldn't get it back because the angle was too, like, he's too tall, I guess. He's trying to like get it to come back without dropping it or messing anything else up, and he just couldn't get it there. He had gotten there so much faster than Ty, but that's, I guess, why he overshot it. Rough to see. He did his best. I thought he looked great in his outfit. I like the blue. I like these outfits.
Yeah, they were cute. They were very cute. And I will say I liked the comp. I felt that it was interesting. But did I need to see that many? I think it was 9, right? I was like, this is too much. Just speed it up. Let's hit fast forward on this. And also, Hope didn't want to change the nominations, even if he won. So did I want my friend Hope to win? I don't know. I don't know.
I think making this like three balls would have been good. It's just a lot easier to follow. You could visually track everybody at the same time.
Like,
that's probably the play.
This is this thing though, Sasha, like, because you're like, oh my God, why didn't the crown listen to Hope about Santina? But like, this is why.
No, that's
like,
okay, fine.
You know what? If I win the veto, everything stays the same. I'm not gonna like, if I'm working with somebody who says that to me, like fully serious, I would be like, great, you are irrelevant, strategy wise. Like, I can't listen to you ever again about strategy. So like, of course they're not going to listen to him, but he has these random moments where he can see clearly. And then he just, he is like, so the like tragic protagonist who like throws himself down on the sword for his like lover, like he's so like that character. But like those people in BB, like, I always say the best Big Brother players are the ones who are the most self-interested, and Hope is like the least self-interested player that we've seen in years.
Yeah, and that I just want to shake him, sweet king. Yeah. Wake up. You're too nice. This is not the game for you. You're working with a bunch of self-interested people that are just like running you. And I feel sad for Hope, but I do think that maybe Hope's time should come already, because I'm tired of him just being like, anything for the team, I'm good.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of funny that he came on the show and like the only thing we heard about the first like 2 weeks was how he's like, I'm just here to win comps. I'm just here to win comps. That's what I'm here.
Where is
Put on
that?
this show for. And here we are, weeks, months later. One comp.
He's literally gives the always the bridesmaid, never the bride energy, right? Because poor guy, he does come like close to
He
winning,
does.
but he's not winning. And guess what? Second place is first loser. So Hope, I need you to wake up and understand that this is how the house is set up. So play the game. Everyone actually likes him. I think that's that's why I'm mad. Because if he like tried a little and wasn't like volunteer block star, he would actually, make some moves and could play the middle. But bless our sweet king. That's not him. That's not him.
It's not. He just wants to be a loyal soldier. This guy. He wants to go commando.
How dare you? I mean, great sight for Hope for that. Fine, good for you. You do you, boo. But please,
Whoa. This really is Big Brother podcast after dark.
Oh, boy.
What else do I have to talk about? Not this comp.
I know.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I can't wait until we hit the spoilers because that's what I'm ready for.
Well, that's the end of the episode. I mean,
Yeah.
we cut off with Ty saying ball game, and with Ty immune, Ty holding the veto, he likely will be taking himself off the block, which means that Claudia will have to name a replacement nominee. She'll have to choose from Shania, Renee, probably not, or Kuzi, Daniel, or Anika. So another member of the Crown looking like yet another week where a Crown member will leave. I have to at this point ask the question, is the Crown one of the least successful alliances in the history of the show? Because since it was formed, there have been 3 evictions, and in 2 of them, they've lost a member probably. And the only one where they didn't lose a member was when they had the HOH and they took out the closest person they had to their alliance.
Correct.
How dare you?
Correct.
Whatever the name of that alliance was with Bronte and Bridget and Natalie exists. How dare you?
The secret mathematician. Oh, I don't remember what their alliance name was.
Something about girls.
It was something about girls. Not girly pops, but
Spy Girl.
So it might have been Spy Girls, actually. Yeah.
Sam said it. I want to make it clear. It was not me. Oh my God.
Yeah, they didn't do Super Bowl, but like for basically what I'm saying, for an actual like majority alliance that was like posed to do very well or poised to do very well, like they really flopped. Now to some credit here, one of them is still likely to win this game. I would say at this point, still pretty likely to win this game. So they've got that going for them. 2, they did kind of get screwed by some twists. The Canada saves put them in a weird situation, and then the weird result of Ty picking Shania for the veto, Shania being the one person that couldn't win, took down Renee and forced 2 of them on the block when one of them wouldn't have gone home otherwise. Then they really messed themselves up by taking out Santina, because they would have done that regardless of the safety chain. And then this week, again, kind of like Ty winning that veto messes them up because Ty would have gone if not for that. And so because of that, one of them is leaving. But in terms of results only, like, yeah, this is not working too well.
But also they planned the safety chain, and this is what they planned happened. I want to make that clear.
They did.
It is giving Faute. It's giving Faute.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's just I'm tired of my faves and not understanding.
Well, the thing about Faute is that they did make it pretty far,
and the Crown made it.
It was a bit of a back and forth. The Crown has just been taking L after L.
Yeah, I was not a Faute stan. Like, I liked individual people in Faute, but I was never like, yes, I'm putting my love behind Faute.
A smart
You
woman.
know?
Yes.
But that's why it is always funny to me when I see on Twitter people being like, Faute stan. Because I was like, I didn't even really know that those existed, because like, how could you when everything that Faute went through happened? Like, you're not kidding, Sasha. Y'all were in the trenches. I do think The Crown is different than Faute because
They're
Faute,
smarter.
yeah, definitely. And Faute formed week 1. It was a train wreck the whole way through. Like The Crown formed what, like week 4 or 5, and like, yeah, they haven't done great, but like, I do like Taran said, I do think they probably have the winner. You know, so
Just because of numbers, not by brilliance.
I don't know, Daniel. I think like Daniel and Anika, it's still okay. Like the moves that they made were like fine for them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else from the episode before we go on to spoilers?
I just wanted to know how, for folks maybe that aren't spoiled, how did you feel for not getting the noms, like the final noms? Like, is that weird, or are we just like okay with it as non-spoiled people? I mean, I know what happens, but
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't think we need not. I think it's fine for me. Of course, I know the result, but like in
right.
terms of this being like, this isn't a cliffhanger. It's like, oh, let's set up the veto ceremony and then cliffhanger right before. Like that feels cheap to me. But ending
Okay.
on the veto win, where it's like, now what happens? We were targeting Ty. Who's going to go up on the block? Is the target going to change? What are the votes going to look like? Like those are a lot of valid questions. It's the same thing when they end on an HOH win, where I'm like, oh, who they're going to nominate? Who are they going to nominate? What's this week going to look like? It asks a lot of good questions, I think, as opposed to like, setting everything up and then just not giving you the results. So I don't mind it myself, but I'd also be curious to hear from people who
Yeah.
aren't spoiled.
I was like, I just want to know the answer because I don't want to waste 30 hours on a like eviction episode on this. But it is what it
30.
is.
What do you mean by 30? Do you just mean there's a
I'm just mean a long time.
yeah, okay. It's like, where did that number come from?
Just made it up. Vibes only, baby.
So specific.
It's 11:30 at night. It's 11:30.
No, we're on the West Coast. It doesn't count.
Oh my god. Yeah, that no wonder. I saw somebody in the chat that was like, "Oh my gosh, whenever Maggie yawns, I yawn." I'm sorry, you guys. It's 11:30. I'm really trying here.
You should have seen me watching the episode. I was like,
Uh-huh.
and it was only 6 for me.
Oh god. It is what it is.
All right, let's get into some spoilers then.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
A spoiler.
warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
Spoiler.
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Okay, all right. Let's spoil some things. Of course, with Ty holding the veto, he did take himself off the block. And in his place, Kuzi was nominated. But as of right now, it is Hope that should be leaving tomorrow night. Now, that is based off of like loose information from like yesterday. Because we did not get any update whatsoever today on the drop. So, I think the fact that we didn't get anything, the fact that the house is so quiet probably means that everything's just being chill and everything's fine and nothing's going to change. But in terms of like level of certainty, it's not super high. I would say I feel pretty confident that Hope will be leaving tomorrow night. But if Kuzi left, I wouldn't be like completely shocked. I wouldn't be like, what? How could this have possibly happened? Because there's so much that we haven't seen that I'd be like, oh, wow, I guess we missed the real story.
I'm just imagining your face in the video that Asia has from the finale last season.
God.
Of you, yeah, you like, what? Like so seriously. Yeah. I assumed, I didn't even listen today to the drop, but I saw that on YouTube it was like 12 minutes. And I was like, okay, then things probably are pretty much the same. If there's like nothing
it was
to really
about
go
3
over.
minutes plus intro, outro, and answering questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh God. Here's the thing, right? I feel obviously I'm on Team Koozie. I want Team Koozies to stay. I think Hope, thank you for your service. It's been great. Goodbye. You know, all of that. But then I also feel so bad for like Hope, because I feel like he tried, and meanwhile I think Koozie and the rest of the crew like weren't, you know, seeing the whole picture. So let's see. I want Koozie to stay, but I think it's a big mistake, and I hope they make it, just like the Crown keeps making these mistakes.
I agree that Koozie staying is a huge mistake. I think that I like am shocked that she's not the person who's going to be going home, because it's such a huge mistake and we're at final 7. Like, this is when the people who have been amazing and playing out front and are our faves, like that's when they go, you know? Like I can't believe at final 7 we're going to take out somebody like Hope. You know, that's I if for future Big Brother players, if you're listening to this and you're like going to maybe be on the show, if it's the final 7, final 6, and you are like getting out somebody who you're like, yeah, I guess it's time, like maybe take a second and be like, okay, should we actually be doing this? Like, this is a really good moment to sort of seize the day here. And yeah, I can't believe next to Koozie Hope would go. That's sort of wild to me. But also, that just goes to show like perception versus reality. They have this weird perception that Hope is amazing at comps when Koozie has outperformed him many, many, many times. And like,
Internalized misogyny, gasp.
yeah,
Who would've
muscles.
thought?
He has muscles.
Hope Fitness must be
Uh-huh.
great.
Well, I will say, in terms of the kinds of end game competitions that pop up, and how Hope has been performing in physical competitions, just coming short behind Ty. If Ty were to leave, Hope is probably cleaning up those competitions, so that is dangerous. And I will say this too, while I do agree with you ultimately, to give sort of the view probably at least a little bit from Claudia and the girly pops. Daniel and Anika have expressed to them and to us that they know they can't beat Koozie, and they know that they have to get rid of her eventually. Whereas if Koozie leaves and they have Hope in Koozie's place, I don't think either of them are concerned about Hope. I think they're not going to waste an HOH taking Hope out. They're not going to waste anything taking Hope out. They're going to let Hope win as many comps as he wants, and they're going to let him bring one of them to the end so that they can beat him. And that is a little more threatening overall than somebody like, okay, well, I leave Koozie in the game. Daniel and Anika will have to deal with her, which means that they won't be dealing with us. But the problem
They're not
is
thinking like that.
No, I know they're not thinking that.
Like, who has said this? This is fan
Oh,
fiction
God.
from Taran.
What they are thinking is that they have an alliance with Daniel and Anika. And so this is sort of where things are headed right now. Claudia and Shania are secretly aligned with Daniel and Anika, leaving out Renee and Koozie. And they are, I think, attempting to get to the final 5 with Renee and Daniel and Anika. They would love to take out Ty and Koozie next. What they don't realize is that Daniel and Anika are not looking to take out Ty next. They are actually looking to take out at least Renee. Daniel's been trying to put in work to take out Renee over Claudia, but Koozie and Ty really want Claudia. And that's the other problem, which is that there is actually another Final Four in the game, which is Koozie, Ty, Daniel, and Anika. And Koozie and Ty really want to take out Claudia. So they have kind of walked themselves into this, and it absolutely leaves Daniel and Anika in the power position of, just basically being aligned with every single person in the house, and in a Final Four with every single person in the house, except for Renee, which is why I would imagine Daniel really wants to target Renee.
Let's see. I hope Claudia. I think Claudia going is good for almost everyone, because I think she's almost the brains of the girly pop. So I think maybe they scatter a little bit more, or maybe Shania, shows us a side we haven't seen. I don't know. But currently, it looks like if Claudia's gone, maybe they're really weak, just strategy wise.
I think, let's say Ty or let's say Kuzi wins HOH next week. She targets Claudia. She takes Claudia out. I don't think Ty will stay loyal to this 4. I think this is where this could be Daniel's biggest hurdle, is that I think Ty recognizes that Kuzi, Daniel, and Anika need to be split up. He's got a final 2 with Kuzi. He knows Daniel and Anika are tight. I know that he's starting to suspect that they have something with the girly pops. I think he might just go straight at Anika or Daniel, instead of dealing with Renee, who can't win a comp according to him and according to probably reality. And Shanae, I don't think he bothers with them. So
no, he really doesn't. Oh my god,
drag her, Taran.
Yeah, I've said this before. You cannot count anybody out in comps. Paris never won a single thing until the end.
It's just the fact that you said, according to her, and probably reality. Savage. She's going to be pissed.
Her
Oh, no.
bouquet is going
no.
to be very angry.
I'm pissed. Yeah.
I
How
can't.
dare. How dare.
Well,
We're cracked.
It's late. Okay.
it is late. It is late. Well,
Yes.
anything else we wanna talk about from these drops?
No,
that's it.
I don't think so. I think I'm excited to see how it turns out, like if Hope goes, like how all of that happens. So
Mhm.
let's see,
Do we
because they
think?
give us nothing.
I have a question. Like, do we think this is the double eviction week?
I don't think so. Just because, like, I think or unless you mean is the Fatal Feast the double eviction, in which
Yeah.
case, yes,
Oh
I do think so.
Lord.
I think the Fatal Feast was
Okay.
in place of a double eviction, because that's
Okay.
what happened last season. They did a double eviction that was a safety chain. So they did the
Okay.
same thing this time. They just didn't do it live, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Because do we think there'll be a battle back? No, right? Ugh, me wishing.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think timing wise that works.
There's only 3 weeks
Darn.
left.
Yeah.
It'd be really. I mean, they did just do a callback to BBCAN11 when they brought somebody back at the Final 4. So,
Okay, no,
you
Final
never know.
Four. I don't think it's fair. So it's fine. They can
Just
go.
yeah. I mean, just to circle back to that. The religious Big Brother people who believe in the Big Brother gods do think that maybe there was some divine intervention to prevent Gary from winning, considering that he was brought back from the jury at the Final 4.
Oh, pshaw.
Stop it.
No.
A game's a game. But we're the same people that will be mad at Chris Underwood. So, hypocritical. We love us.
Survivor doesn't have the same gods.
No, absolutely not.
Survivor is under Daddy Jeff, and Daddy Jeff they trust. We're under Mother Julie, so no.
Marissa, please.
Yeah, wait, I was gonna say Grodner.
This podcast is now over. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, I did do an interview with Santina this morning. That is out now. Let me tell you, she was very quick at answering questions, so it's a bit of a shorter one, but she did give thoughts on the remaining players in the house and whether she was likely to vote for them. She did mention that she would have taken Kuzi to the final 2, which really only just makes it worse that Kuzi was so dead set on targeting her. But what are you gonna do? And we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, watching the episode live with all of you, and then be back here on the podcast to recap what goes down on the eviction. It would be great if we got another HOH competition, but I'm not banking on it. And so check all that out. And also, of course, head over to robhasawebsite.com/Toronto if you want to get your tickets to the live show for the finale on May 11th. There are still some tickets left, but you'll probably want to go fast. I believe we just tweeted out we've got some confirmed or at least currently confirmed alumni who will be there, including Poutine Poppy himself, Anthony Douglas, Betty will be there, Kevin, of course, will be there. The tie that won, Big Brother Canada 9, will be there.
Not the tie that sucks.
Summer will be there, and many more. So make sure you come and hang out. It'll be a great time. Here's the image. Look at this. That's what we got. Let me see if I can make this bigger. That's not that much bigger, but
What a fun crew.
Right?
Yeah, this is exciting.
You'll get a chance to meet all of these people if you come and hang out in Toronto. So make sure you check out robhasawebsite.com/Toronto to get your tickets. All right. That's what we've got for you. Sasha, what are you up to?
Yeah, I have a weekly podcast with Kristen McInnes talking about pop culture, vibes only, honestly, all the mess that you'd want. We cover it over on RHAP has a website /mess magnets. This week, we'll be dropping the Best of Mess, our 1-year award show. So get excited. And I'm also premiering on the Bravo feed with which Maggie and Jacob's stuff is already on there. Go check that out as well. But I will be talking Below Deck Sailing Yacht with Rob. So it's been a really fun 2 episodes. Honestly, the hookups have started and it's only episode 2. So wild yachties and even wilder guests. So get excited. Go check that out.
Did they ever
And-
hook up above deck?
Yes, in the hot tub, which is
boy.
above deck, and like in front
Whoa.
of like everyone. Yes. Like they're literally
Never-
docked. Like they're
Yeah.
at a dock.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're
yeah,
done.
and no shame, like at all.
Never ever go underwater in a hot tub. That's why.
Don't go in the hot tub, y'all. If you
Agreed.
have like 10K per person to go on a charter, just
Mhm.
don't go in the hot tub. It's not worth it. Let me tell
Mhm.
you. and I'm covering on Everything is Super on Poster Recaps. That's a feed name, Everything is Super, with Jason Reed, a show called The Power, which is this beautiful feminist, like amazing, I don't know, all of it, a show where teenage girls get powers and they get to like be safe in the world, and it imagines what that looks like. So check that out. I also guested on 90 Day Fiance and on Beef on with Nothing But Netflix. So lots of fun. Go check all of that out, and to follow everything, just keep track of me on Twitter at funsize_04.
Is it wrong that even though I know it's not about this, or at least I'm pretty sure it's not about this, I keep thinking that Beef is about cannibalism?
At certain points of the episode, at this point, you couldn't be you're not necessarily wrong,
Oh,
but
look at
it's a
that.
fever dream is how I would describe the show. So by episode 8, maybe you're onto something.
All right. Well, Maggie, what are you up to?
Well, I have not watched all of Beef, but I watched the first episode, and I have to say it's some of the best writing I've seen on television in a really long time. Oh my gosh, the writing was so phenomenal. I love Stephen Yeun. I love him so much. And definitely, I haven't listened to the podcast yet because I just haven't had time. I'm moving, like so much is going on in my life, but I want to watch the show before I listen.
Yes.
But I would recommend to anybody, definitely check it out. The first episode was so good. I'm not really doing anything. Sasha has all of these things going on. I'm covering Big Brother
Not yet.
sometimes. I've got a lot going on in my personal life. I will be moving out of this echoey room, so hopefully my audio will be better next time you guys hear me.
Don't come for Maggie.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at mlmorgan_. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you then. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. And we will see all of you next time when it's ball game time.